How would you feel if OSHA knocked on the door right now? Well, in my last video, I talked about the 3 parts to an OSHA audit. In this video, I want to dive into the opening conference so you have a good idea of what to expect during that opening conference and you're not caught off guard and you're better prepared and your team is better prepared. Let's jump into it. Okay, so the opening conference. I mentioned earlier in the last video, if you didn't see it, I said this is kind of like the police officer that pulls you over when you're speeding. Now, they're going to walk up to the side of the door. They're going to say, sir, do you know why I pulled you over? And you might look at them and go, I have no idea, even though you have a pretty good idea. Well, in this situation, OSHA probably isn't going to say, do you know why I pulled you over? They're simply going to tell you. They're going to explain that they're there because of something that prompted them to be there. Now, one of the number 1 reasons OSHA shows up for an unexpected OSHA audit is because of a disgruntled employee's complaint, meaning the employee isn't happy with safety at the company. Maybe they still work there, maybe they fired, maybe they quit, but they notified OSHA of an unsafe working condition. And by law, OSHA has to investigate. They got to find out what's going on. And if it's legitimate, they got to figure out what they're going to do to make sure you fix it, i.e. it ends up costing you some money. And we want to do everything we can to prevent unsafe working conditions anyway. So that goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. Now, if there is a disgruntled employee complaint, the complaint is going to be there. OSHA oftentimes will just read you exactly what it is. Now, you're not going to know who said it. It's usually an anonymous employee that's stating it. But regardless, you're not worried about the person, you're worried about the complaint. So you want to understand exactly why they are visiting. That's one important part of this. Now, I kind of jumped ahead. Let me back up 2 steps. During the opening conference, you want to have your leadership team in the room. So what I mean is if you're the safety manager, you're going to have yourself. You're probably going to want to have the office manager. You're probably going to want to have the plant or production manager, and you're going to want to have the maintenance manager. Now, depending on the nature of your business and your industry, you might have somebody from quality or somebody from environmental. There might be a different person besides a production manager. It might be a shipping manager. But the key people are going to be the people that are going to make corrective actions after OSHA leaves. So as an example, you want to have the maintenance person in the room because if they find a problem with the racking or the equipment or the guarding on the equipment, oftentimes maintenance is going to be the one tasked with making the corrections. You also want to have somebody from production there because they're usually the one dealing with people. So you have PPE, you have different types of work environments where the people are working. They're going to want to be in the room as well. So during the opening conference, you want to have your team in the room. You want to take some notes. You want to do this in a private area. So obviously a conference room is best. It might even be a small office. That's fine. You don't want to have the opening conference in the break room. You don't want to have it around other employees. This is a confidential private meeting. So you want to have this in a conference room, in a place where you can kind of control who's coming in, who's going out. So this it starts off the OSHA inspection, so it's the very beginning of it. And with the opening conference, they're going to present their credentials. So the OSHA officers, usually it's 1, it might be 2 or 3, will be in the room, and they're going to present their credentials to you. They're going to show you who they are, where they're from. I always encourage managers, offer them coffee, offer them something to eat, offer them the restroom. They've probably been driving a while. Be kind, don't be a jerk. Being a jerk doesn't do anything to help your cause. They're there to do their job. The best thing we can do is have a professional relationship with them. So be kind and be generous and have them come in. So the opening conference, when they're in there, they're going to show you their credentials. They're going to explain why they're there. Now, if they say, hey, we're here because we feel like you're not doing employee training on forklifts, you could even have them stay in the room while you go get your powered industrial truck written program, your inspections, your employee certifications, your training rosters, so you can have them wait while you go get documentation that they're looking for. There's even been cases I've seen where the inspector never needs to go out and do the walk around because they get everything they need in the opening conference. Meaning, not the opening conference, I shouldn't say that. They get everything they need in the office, and there's no need to go walk around and do an inspection. You see, they're on site for that specific reason. That's the scope of their inspection. So if the scope of their inspection can be accomplished with paperwork and programs and training records, they don't have a reason to go out into the facility. And we want to provide them with as much information as possible, because the less they're out walking around looking around, the less likely they're going to find a problem. So, opening conference, have the right people in the room, make sure people are prepared for it, make sure people are professional and kind, and all these things will go a long way to making the audit go smooth. Now, in my next video, we're going to be talking about the actual walk around and what you can do during the walk around to make it as efficient as possible. So until we talk again, do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe, because no one should get hurt at work.